Hello, everyone. My name is Mia Parrott. We are introducing the Campus Tranquility Initiative today. Francesca was actually not able to be here today, but Eliza and I will be presenting. Eliza, if you would like to introduce yourselves again.
Hi, my name is Liza. I'm a graduate from William Mary. I'm currently in Montana right now. I am
Oh,
serving in a legal aid program, so I'm 2 hours behind you guys, but super happy to be here and excited to talk about this project.
Yes. And I serve as the Assistant Director for the Parks and Ecotherapy Research Lab, right along with Dr. Ibez.
So we'll do a bit of an introduction to talk about our project. And the idea kind of struck me when applying to the Parks and Ecotherapy Research Lab in the fall of 2023 as I was walking through campus. And I could not enjoy anything that was going on because construction was everywhere. It was constantly noisy. It would not stop during the day. Even when we're outside trying to take a break between classes, there was just noise constantly infiltrating, even through headphones. So that's something I was really curious about. How is this affecting the outdoor experiences of students throughout their time in school? Because this is somewhere they're living, they're eating, they're working, they're having classes. How does this impact their mental health and their ability to enjoy nature? So this is something that Mia, Francesca, and I were really excited to focus on in Parks and Ecotherapy Research Lab. So we wanted to see, first of all, does noise pollution disrupt concentration, relaxation, and our ability to interact with nature in a really meaningful way? And then our goal was just to ultimately understand, okay, is this affecting students? And then how can we help students? What are the best ways in which we can provide resources, some ability to enjoy nature, even while we have to coexist with this really prevalent construction around our campus? So also on this page, we have a QR code that links to our story map where we mapped a lot of the effects of construction noise. And then we also placed resources in those areas so that students, as they navigate that map, they can also access some resources that we'll talk about later that could help them. So just pointing that out. And then to talk about our methodology, our first step was we wanted to do a survey to again understand what are these impacts? Are there any impacts, first of all? So I specifically set up a Google form. I wanted it to be easy, accessible for students to pass around, to look up, and had a QR code that I actually stood outside the library and tried to get people to scan and answer it. And that's a little awkward, but we got some responses, some really good responses. But then we also did a lot of outreach over email. I had department heads send out the QR code and the link to this, and that got us a lot of really great results. So it ended up being about 184 students who responded to this, which was really helpful. We got a really good grasp of how students feel about this. And we did a lot of analysis of what was going on. So with our survey, we have a question that tries to measure using the Likert scale how students feel about construction noise, whether it doesn't bother them at all, whether it's not distressing, whether it's somewhat distressing, or very or extremely distressing. So we actually had 26% of respondents say that the construction noise was either very or extremely depressing to them, which was a significant portion of students. And we got a lot of specific answers in our third question, which looked at, okay, open-ended, how does this impact you and where does it impact you? Our second question was really looking at what areas of life does construction noise impact the most, whether that's concentration, your ability to study outside, your ability to relax in general. We were just looking at those general areas. But in that third question, that's where we got really specific information and got to really dial into what's affecting students. So here are some graphs that were made to kind of summarize the results of our survey. So you can see that there's some moderate impacts of how distressing do you find construction noise, moderately, very extremely. And it's really troubling to us that there are these percentages of students experiencing very extreme distress from it. And we wanted to find out, okay, what areas are these impacting students? So a lot of that was in enjoyment of campus outdoors. So enjoyment of nature, time spent outdoors, and then also irritability, concentration, stress levels, sleep, all of that. But at the very top, 82% of respondents say that this really impacts them in general, just being outdoors. And so that's not just like purposely going outdoors to enjoy it, but imagine your walk to class every single day. That's something that's constantly being interrupted, constantly, you cannot get away from that. So it's very much a prevalent thing, not just impacting your desire to go outdoors, but just your ability to enjoy your walks to classes, your time between classes, your time eating outdoors. So we started to see how this would impact students in a ton of minuscule ways that could really build up. So I just wanted to read you guys really fast before we move on, a specific response from a student that I felt like was really impactful. And I'm just going to read it out because it's super long. She says, or he, I live in Lemon and have constant construction about 30 feet from my window. The whole reason I got put into Lemon was because I have a chronic illness, but the issue is that some of my symptoms are noise sensitivity and chronic fatigue. So the construction noise kills me. I probably wouldn't have chosen to live here if I knew this is how bad it would be. I know there is nothing they can really do about it, but it's still very frustrating since my condition can make me literally start throwing up from loud noises. And then someone else said, it's mostly just difficult to be able to enjoy my walks to class. I like to listen to the birds or just observe, but constant banging and clanging makes it kind of difficult. So we started,
Liza and Mia, unfortunately, you need to wrap up.
okay, sorry.
So our teammate Francesca was the one who kind of compiled the tranquility data. So we identified the loudest parts of campus and put this into both the William Mary Green Space map and the tranquility story map, which we have discussed. And I went ahead and did research and created these nature-based meditations that were designed for these noisy areas to help relieve some of the most prominent issues with students, which was stress and irritation. And those are available for download at the story map or the green space map, and most of those are wheelchair accessible. And so here are our next steps is just working with a variety of different William Mary departments and offices, hosting in-person mindfulness workshops, posting signage, focus groups, and lobbying a variety of administration at William Mary.